Okay, so the slowpoke. Alright, so Galar Grand Finals, here we are. So we see the Great British Blastoise on your left and the Houston Hawluchas on your right. And so we see three not fully evolved Pokemon with the Pikachu, which is G-Max, and the Piloswine on the Great British Blastoise side. And for the Houston Hawluchas, we see that Slowpoke. We haven't really seen Tay use this Trick Room before. Is that what he's using it for? I guess we will have to see. And so for the Great British Blastoise side, we see only really Gyarados as like what you would expect to see as an offensive presence. Along with that Piloswine too. Piloswine is very bulky and can hit very hard in Trick Room. We see Tay. Last time he had the Silvally, which he ended up switching out for an Obstagoon, which we do see here. And the new additions, Obstagoon, Slowpoke, and Garchomp are all here, along with that Metagross and the Scarf Blaziken. Interesting. We've typically seen Tay use Scarf on the Obstagoon, but this time it has leftovers. Is that something Ben might be expecting from Tay? Who knows? Here we go. So exciting. The first seed versus the second seed. These two players have known each other for a long time. And Ben brings out the Chandelure and the Umbreon. With Tay bringing out that really big offensive presence with that Blaziken and the Metagross. Now, Chandelure does have super effective Heat Wave and Shadow Ball onto the Metagross, with also Umbreon having possibly Foul Play. It's just, this is a pretty decent Trick Room setup because you don't want to let Umbreon get away with doing its snarls or yawns or foul plays, but you also don't want to let Chandelure get a free Trick Room off. But we do see that Slowpoke in the back, maybe to try to counteract that Trick Room mode. So with the Chandelure, you can maybe expect to see Piloswine in the back. We have seen Ben use Trick Room Chandelure, especially against Tay, so Tay's taking really hard, going right to timer. Will he make this move in time? No, he doesn't! The Metagross is not able to switch out. Not wanting to take a chance with the... Oh! Chandelure with that Psychic, going right into the Blaziken for the one-hit knockout. Not a crit, just pure damage, and Blaziken goes down. Umbreon getting off a yawn into the Metagross. Going into the Iron Head and it will take out the Umbreon. So Tay not unable to switch out into the Obstagoon, but was able to take out the Umbreon, which will be a nice addition to this battle since he won't have to deal with it anymore. But we still see that Chandelure on the field. We know it has Psychic, and maybe one or both of Heat Wave and Shadow Ball. So Metagross, especially with that yawn pressure, is not safe in this position at all. Obstagoon coming out with that Aromatisse in the back. Two possible Trick Room setters against a Dark type and a Steel Psychic type. So this is looking like a pretty decent board state for Ben, especially if he has that Focus Sash on the Chandelure. Who knows? It can't... Even if he did have Taunt, there's no way he can get it off because of that Aromatisse's Aroma Veil blocking any move that prevents your moves from being limited. And Tay looking to go for that Max Steel Spike onto the Aromatisse. Again, taking his time. He was going right to timer, but does manage to get off. Oh, and then we see the Dynamax. Will it be the Chandelure or the Aromatisse? And it's the Chandelure.
very confident in its abilities. That makes sense. It has pretty good moves into that Metagross, and can with the Aromatisse, maybe feels a bit safer around that Obstagoon and its Dark type moves. Tay as well going for that Dynamax onto the Metagross. Will this Aromatisse have the Bibiri Berry? Make it take half the damage from this max Steel Spike.
I feel like with Chandelore's really high special attack, it can probably also like put a lot of pressure on Obstagoon as well, so I can definitely see why that's justified.
And Chandelure going for a super big max flare onto the Metagross, activates its weakness policy. But it does a lot of damage in the process. Obstagoon going for that knockoff for really good damage in the Chandelure, almost bringing it down to half and knocking off that Choice Scarf. Aromatisse not having that Bibiri Berry with that weakness policy gets taken out by that max Steel Spike, raising its defense. But unfortunately, we'll never know what this Aromatisse was going to go for since it was the slowest on the field, and it is now nighttime for the Metagross. After taking so much damage and getting off its weakness policy, it's just time for a nap. It got pretty tired and the sun is out, so perfect time to take a nap.
It always amuses me how Pokemon can fall asleep under like bright stadium lights.
You know, Metagross had that big X just probably covering out that sunlight. And Tay looking to possibly switch out the Obstagoon into the Slowpoke. You can see he's really thinking about it. The Piloswine also has good damage into that Metagross, and now that it is asleep, and it will have to burn its first mandatory sleep right now, so it is either risk your Metagross getting KO'd, or just switching out and losing your max. Looks like Tay is just going to risk his Metagross. Obstagoon switching out in favor of the Slowpoke, making its debut right in the finals. We have two NFE Pokemon, and Chandelure going for the Max Guard, possibly predicting another Dark-type move from Obstagoon, and Piloswine going for a super power to the 4 times weak Obstagoon, but because of the Slowpoke, it just eats it. And now Slowpoke, free to go for whatever it wants, essentially, is going to possibly give this Metagross a chance to wake up. Chandelure, yep, going for that Max Overgrowth, doesn't want to take a chance with the Slowpoke. Will it be enough to take it out? And unfortunately, it is enough to take out the Slowpoke before it can get off that yawn. And Metagross is faster than the Piloswine, so let's see if it will wake up this turn. Metagross wakes up and goes for that Max Steel Spike into that Piloswine. Now, will it live? It doesn't! The weakness policy and the 2-turn sleep saved the Metagross, and because the Chandelure went for Max Guard and ignored the Metagross, it's now given Tay a chance to get back into the match after a pretty awkward first couple turns. Obstagoon coming right back out. It's just Chandelure versus a Metagross and an Obstagoon. Now let's see, maybe if a Sun boosted Heat Wave could bring the Great British Blastoise back into this match. Knockoff, since he already knocked off the item off the Chandelure, it won't do as much damage, but that was in Dynamax. Remember, so this possibly could be enough to take out the Chandelure, and yes, this is a very easy protect on the Metagross, but Ben could easily protect with the Chandelure to bait out the Metagross protect. Oh no, it was a Choice Scarf, so maybe it doesn't even have protect. Going in Psychic into the Obstagoon, yep, there's a small chance for it to survive the turn, but it does. It lives on a sliver of HP, but because of the Metagross protect, there wasn't really anything that Ben could have done in this turn.
Yeah, I also forgot that my choice scarf was knocked off.
Yeah, I was
So
wondering.
I just click psychic anyway. So yeah.
Yeah, you see, yeah, Ben said he forgot the choice scarf was knocked off, so he just automatically assumed the game was over with. But maybe with a maybe like with the sun up a crit fire move into the Obstagoon, if it was Heat Wave into the Metagross, could have saved this match. But we can't always keep track of everything that happens in Pokemon, and this was a very successful Game 1 for the Houston Hawluchas. They played around that sleep perfectly. It's not often you see a yawned Pokemon go for the Dynamax in front of a, let's say, another Pokemon that does hit it for very super effective damage. You have to have very good hope in your Pokemon that they can withstand any attack that it comes in contact with, and that it can wake up. So we can just see just how strong Metagross can be. And fun fact, it actually is on about half of the finalist teams in the UGA, so you can so it's definitely just so apparent how good this Pokemon is in draft. Okay, so yeah, what do you guys think of that first match?
I just feel like wondering, whenever a Dynamax Pokemon falls asleep, they usually wake up so quick. Like, it always... I wonder if there's like a particular like mechanic when it comes to sleeping Dynamax Pokemon, or if it's just the same and like every single sleeping Dynamax Pokemon just happened to wake up a little sooner.
I mean, I've definitely had my Maxmon sleep all 3 turns, so...
Maybe it was just a coincidence on my part.
Yeah, but also I shouldn't have max guarded Chandelure. Because knockoff wasn't going to KO the Chandelure anyway. So that was a misplay on my part again. Yeah, I think I kind of choked game 1.
Yeah, if you went another max fire into the Metagross,
yeah, should have taken out the Metagross.
Exactly.
I think knockoff also loses power if it's like targeting anyone that isn't holding a held item.
Yeah, that's like a 1 point something times boost when it's knocking off an item, and it's just normal power when it doesn't. So yeah. And so game 2, we see the exact same leads, but will the play be different now that you kind of know what each other wants to do? Okay, looking very close at that Dynamax button, but opting to just go. Oh no. Being very particular about his moves this time around. Again, going down to the timer. Let's see if he can get off these moves. This time, able to get off the switch into the Obstagoon, what he wanted to do in the beginning. He's been going for that close combat into the Umbreon, and it is not a crit, so the Umbreon does live, and without the Metagross Iron Head around, it will stick onto the field for another turn. Chandler going for the Heat Wave. That would have done big damage into and Foul Play, just trying to take out that Metagross on turn 1, but because of the Obstagoon switch, it lives. Metagross will see later on in the battle. Blaziken going for that speed boost along with his Choice Scarf. It is a very, very speedy Pokemon, so without priority, it will definitely be going first in this next turn. Very interesting set from Tay. Got that Iron Defense Body Press. I didn't even know Obstagoon got those moves. And Blaziken now choice locked into the close combat, canter the Chandelure, so we'll see. Oh, that's one way to circumvent the choice items. You've seen the Chandelure do it. And now Tay opting to
Dynamax his own Choice Scarf Fire-type Pokemon. We'll see if this works out for him better than it did for Ben. Blaziken at half health, going for that Dynamax. It's not too bad. Oh, Umbreon going for the Baby Doll Eyes, bringing down the Blaziken's attack. Will that be enough to let the Chandelure live this Max Quake? And it is! The Chandelure lives the Max Quake, although it might have been a roll even without the Baby Doll Eyes. It's looking pretty close, but more importantly, raising that special defense to better take this Heat Wave. And obviously, Una not getting burned is going for that Body Press into the Umbreon for the KO. Obsidian getting some leftovers recovery. And Blaziken going for yet another speed boost. The sun isn't up, and and it's Gyarados! Is it Intimidate? It is not, in fear of that Defiant Obstagoon. Which is very fair, but unfortunately now, the Blaziken, it doesn't really have moves to hit the Gyarados, especially with its -1 attack drop, my apologies. And so the Obstagoon opting to go for that knockoff, trying to see what item the Gyarados is holding, and Blaziken going for that potential knockout onto the Chandelure. And Chandelure, we do see his Choice Lock, had the Choice Scarf, so it's unlikely to have Protect. So let's see how Ben will choose to deal with this. Yep, Ben's gonna switch out the Chandelure in favor of the Pikachu. And Ben opting to max the Gyarados. Since the Blaziken didn't max guard, it is very possible that Gyarados could take it out with a max Geyser and get a Moxie boost. Pikachu isn't Focus Sash. It is going to go down, and it does. It lives on a Focus Sash. So even though Blaziken and Obsidian get that +1 special defense boost, the Pikachu is still on the field, and it's free to go for a possible Fake Out. White Herb, trying to just mitigate any type of stat drop, and Gyarados also having access to that max airstream against the Blaziken's fighting type, is able to raise its speed against the Blaziken. And unfortunately for Tay, it does go down because it has taken so much damage in the previous turns. And Gyarados getting at Moxie for essentially a free Dragon Dance on top of a KO. So Gyarados, my apologies, showing just how offensive it can be. And the Slowpoke coming out. Again, 2 not fully evolved Pokemon on the field, but the British Blastoise still has 2 turns of Dynamax to work with. Now Slowpoke does have that yawn that was not revealed, so if Ben plays his board wrong, he could still do something. And he has that Trick Room as well, using that max airstream against the Gyarados. Oh, Pikachu has that feint, just trying to not let the Slowpoke do anything, but it lives! It lives on 27 HP! So this Slowpoke is going to be able to get off this Trick Room. Obstagoon going for that knockoff, takes out the Pikachu. Unfortunately for the Great British Blastoise, the Slowpoke does have that Trick Room. It's looking very good for the Houston Hawluchas right now. Let's see what the British Blastoises can do about this. Sending back out that Chandelure. But we do see this Slowpoke has the Liquidation and being the slowest Pokemon on the field. Oh, it's opting to go for a Yawn onto the Gyarados. Very good plan. Because now it is going first, this Gyarados is going to take a nap after this next turn. After the next turn. Chandelure, because it had its Choice Scarf intact, it took big damage from this knockoff and was unfortunately KO'd. Max Airstream taking out the Obstagoon. Just going for, opting to go for another speed boost. It doesn't really matter at this point. Mostly trying to get to that attack boost. And we do see that full HP Metagross in the back. Definitely slower after this Gyarados, especially after those 3 Airstreams, so this is going to be very awkward for the British Blastoises. Very easy protect here, yep, on the Metagross. And Slowpoke with that slack off, just elongating his time on the field. So, with all of this, it's not really clear how the British Blastoise will get around this, but Gyarados going for that bounce. Because it is slower, it will have a it'll be free from damage on its first turn of sleep. Slowpoke just going for some more recovery. It may not be doing damage with Liquidation, but it has that Yawn. Metagross going for that Rock Slide, revealing it, but the Gyarados burning through its first turn of sleep, and it is now back on the field. Now, does this Gyarados carry Protect? If it does, it didn't go for it, and Slowpoke going for that Liquidation, doing minor damage, but that's not the important part. The important part is this Rock Slide coming out from the Metagross and into the Gyarados, and it lives. It lives on very low HP, but unfortunately the Gyarados is still asleep. But the Trick Room does expire, and now the Gyarados moves first. However, with all of its attack boost, maybe it could take out the Slowpoke with a different move. So Metagross, yep, going for that Protect. And the Trick Room from the Slowpoke. Let's see if Gyarados is able to wake up. No, the Gyarados is taking its second turn of sleep. And Tay gets off this Trick Room once again. Slowpoke doing some major work in his debut battle, and what a battle for it to be, the grand finals of the Galar division. Tay opting for the Iron Head because he doesn't want to risk a miss on the Rock Slide. Liquidation, will it put in range of this Iron Head? And it does. It does take out the Gyarados, and that is a 2-0 victory for the Houston Hawluchas with the upset, taking out the British Blastoise and ending his perfect streak. Oh my gosh, this match. Honestly, even if the Gyarados was able to wake up, unless it was able to OHKO the Slowpoke, I'm not sure if he could have pulled that back. But wow, Tay was very, very limited with his resources on this Pokemon during Dynamax. The Metagross was yawned, and the Blaziken was on half HP. But Tay, congratulations for winning the UGA Galar Division Finals, and you are going to go through to the Grand Finals where you face the other champions. So congratulations to you, and good job to you, Ben, as well. You both played so amazing.